Hello, welcome. We are outside the Stadio Olimpico. Lorenzo Bettoni from Football Italia and Isak Moller from SempreMilan. We just covered and witnessed the Coppa Italia Final between Milan and Bologna. Bologna got an historic win, 51 years without winning a trophy before tonight, but tonight the dream came true, and they deservedly won, I would say, this cup. Isak, how did you see the game?
I think you're right. I think they did deserve to win. I mean, based on the first, like I told you before we started recording, like the first half I think was okay from Milan. We had some kind of momentum, created some good chances to score. I think one especially that Jovic maybe should have converted. But in the second half, it was nothing compared to the first half. We saw, there was no timing to any of the Milan players. There was no timing to the game whatsoever, and things just didn't click. And it's unfortunately something we have seen so many times this season. When things don't work, normally everything goes wrong, and that's what we saw on the goal as well. Like the defending is off to me. Even though maybe you could argue that, close to being offside, but whatever. I think, like you said, they deserve to win, and we should be going from this final very disappointed.
And I think when we got inside the stadium, the Curva Nord, because Bologna were staying in the Curva Nord, which usually belongs to Lazio, was full of fans already. Of course, it was a very anticipated final for them because they had been waiting for 51 years to play one of these big games. The Milan one in Curva Sud was half empty. We know it's been a tough season for the Rossoneri, a lot of protest, a lot of miscontent because of the club management, but you could feel they wanted it more. Bologna wanted it more from the very, very start. Even before the game started, they wanted it more. They had more desire.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, as a Milan fan myself, we've been looking at this game as sort of like, if you win this, fine, the season is it's better, but it's not good. Like, this won't fix anything. Whereas, like you say, Bologna are going into this game thinking that we can make history and really make this season something special. So you have it straight away. Like, it's completely different views of entering the game. And when you play a final, you need to have that spark from the beginning. And I think, unfortunately, the fans' stance affected the players. But we can't blame the fans either because it's been such a tough season. So, I agree. Bologna, they wanted it more, and we saw that in the second half when things started to calm down a bit more. They took control of the game, and that's how they won.
I did player ratings for Football Italia. You did the player ratings for SempreMilan. Who were your best players and worst players?
There's no best player, I guess, from Milan.
For Milan.
Yeah, exactly. I gave Mignon 6, which is like a pass. He did okay. He made a good save in the first half, I believe. Maybe it was the second half, but he made a good save. The worst ones were definitely Tomori and Walker and Jovic. Some have said to me that the Jovic chance was quite difficult, and I agree, but he got the shot straight at the goalkeeper. Like, you just needed to get it a bit to the side, and that's a goal. But Walker was shocking off the bench, and Tomori was reckless from the start, and that's why he got booked as well. So I think a lot of negatives, and even the stars, Reinders, Hernandez, Leao created a lot, but his final pass wasn't quite there. So it's a collective disaster, I think, and poor individual performances as well.
Yeah, I checked the stats on SofaScore, so I also gave Reinders a passing grade, let's say 6. It's true that he didn't create much, but he still had, I think, 1 or 2 key chances created. The passing accuracy was good, even if it wasn't very difficult passes. It was short passes and no cross-field passes. He kept it very, very simple, right?
And based on the season as well that he's had, we've seen so many times that he just takes the ball and runs, and creates stuff all the time, and he has that sort of timing to
Fofana did it once tonight,
once.
but Fofana has been the last 4 or 5 months is exhausted, man.
Yeah.
He's exhausted.
I mean, yeah, and that says everything about our season. Really, he was meant to be the player that directs the play and makes the right passes, and we saw nothing of that today. I don't think he won back the ball a few times, but he also fouls, all that kind of stuff. I think it's just really disappointing overall from him.
Yeah. I mean, Milan has been, as you said, not many players were up to the task tonight. Perhaps only the goalkeeper, partially Reinders, but Pulisic as well was pretty disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that Chukwueze came on and did more than Pulisic did in like 4 minutes. I think this is the kind of game that Pulisic sort of disappears in, I'd say. As soon as he gets bodied out of the way by the defenders, he struggles. And that's something we've seen all season. So I'm not surprised by that. And we'll see what happens now. But it's so difficult from a Milan fan point of view to say anything positive about what's to come, really.
As for Bologna, I mean, incredible desire, incredible, great tactic. Ndoye wasn't fully fit, but he still created a lot of troubles to Tomori. He scored a very good goal. He seemed to have lost his momentum, but then he still found the net with the right foot finish. But I really liked John Lukumi. The second part of the season from Lukumi has been, I think, really outstanding. I watched him against Juventus, and I think he has really improved. There's a lot of rumors about this guy, about Atletico Madrid, about Manchester United. I think they have another gem. Beukema is also really strong, really composed on the ball. They proved to be the better team tonight.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think I wouldn't say they have loads of standout players. I mean, they have a lot of promising players, I'd say, plus Orsolini, of course. But it's the team effort that makes it for them. I mean, that's something we've seen with Italiano before as well. Like, it's the team and tactics and how they approach the game together. And that, for me, is the most impressive thing. And also, like, we saw on Friday last week what Milan could do when they found the right spaces and stuff against Bologna. And I think Italiano did a very good job tonight, sort of learning from those mistakes and, neutralizing Milan in a way that was very impressive for me.
There were reports on Italiano possibly replacing Conceição a few weeks ago. Talking about the Milan future, what do you think? Do you think they would need an emerging coach like Italiano, or they need somebody plug-in ready to go?
I think they need someone who's...
Sure. I want to see... I got a message about Conceição, so I want to check.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah.
But I think, I want someone who's more experienced with the league and everything.
He hasn't spoken yet.
No. Oh, wow. They seem to like delaying the press conference this season, Milan. So
but not even with TV, no. With the media, with the TV.
Yeah, so. It always takes so long when they lose. But yeah, I think we need someone who's ready. Basically, I've always said in the last few weeks regarding Italiano that yes, he's a good coach, he's a promising coach, but has he managed a big team? No, not really. I mean, the biggest, I guess, is Fiorentina in terms of fan following and everything.
There's a move that he did tonight, which everyone is already talking about, which is putting in Casale a centre back for Orsolini, which is something, if you remember the finals he lost with Fiorentina, it was because he had a high line, he continued pressing very high, even if he should have managed the game and get to extra time and try to, especially against West Ham, and try to win the game, or at least play a different game in extra time. This time around, the fact that he replaced a winger with a central defender, it's something that, remember, was a little bit reminiscent of Allegri. Something that he usually does. He usually doesn't do defending substitutions, Italiano.
But that's the thing I noticed as well this evening. Like, they drop back properly And I wasn't expecting that actually. But then, that makes it even more disappointing that Milan didn't even create that many good chances when they had the upper hand, but like they had the possession deep in their half. But yeah, no, I don't think he's the right man. It's too much of a gamble still. He could join and do a fantastic job, but he could also join and it could just be decent. So I think, based on the names like Conte, Allegri, Sarri, I've said in the last few weeks that we maybe should go for Sarri just based on his record and ability to work with young players and, monetize players, I guess.
It's a good balance between the experience and the work that he does on young players. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah, and when you think about Allegri as well, I don't really want to see that kind of football at Milan. And also when you think about the players we have, obviously some things might happen in the summer that I don't know what's going to happen to Hernandez, what's going to happen to Leao, but I can't.
Maybe Reinders as well, despite the extension.
Yeah, if he leaves, it will be a riot, I think, at Casa Milan, if Reinders leaves. But so I don't really see us going with Allegri or anything. He would play Leao left wing back, probably. And so
or support striker like Chiesa.
But I would say Sarri maybe. Conte obviously is a very good choice, but he's under contract. I think he's maybe going to stay at Napoli.
Yeah, and then you live in a club that is building something to join another club another time that is not playing in European competitions.
Yeah.
Starting all over again.
Exactly.
It's starting to be a little bit frustrating for him as well. I'm not sure. Any club struggling, the best option is always Conte.
Yeah.
Because it solves this problem right away.
Yeah, you get 1 year and then it's...
Yeah, it's not going to stick around for many years, but that in the first year, it's going to solve your problems.
Yeah.
Talking about the future of Milan again, keep one and sell one between Theo. Actually, keep one between Theo, Leao, and Magnan. Sell the other two.
That's a difficult one. I probably lean in. The season finale has been positive. So I in light of that, I would say Magnan maybe. But
you keep Magnan.
Yeah, maybe. But if you take the season as a whole, maybe you sell Magnan and Theo and keep Leao. But also we know that Leao we could fetch a lot of money for. So maybe we should sell him and Magnan and keep Theo. I don't know. It feels like Theo has the potential, but he's not in the right headspace at the moment.
Yeah.
And we can lose. Leao has a long contract. Magnan has he's expiring too, but I think that's less of a problem. Theo is the one we need to fix now. And, you could argue that selling him, that's the solution. But yeah, I would keep Hernandez then.
And while Bologna was celebrating, the giant screen showed the director, Giovanni Sartori.
Yep.
He was one of the names linked with Milan for the sporting director role, which doesn't seem to be the case, honestly, now, all the other directors under contract.
Yep.
But Milan do really need a figure like him. Do really need somebody who knows about players, knows who...
Yeah.
You surely read the interview from Boban a few days ago. So he didn't speak very well about any of the people at Milan.
No.
Even when he tried. He tried to speak well about Moncada and he said he's a very good scout, but he's not the one. He's an excellent head scout, but he's not the one who can actually pick the players. When I was at Milan and Maldini was at Milan as well, he would come and say, look, these are the players that we've been watching, but then he didn't pick the ones that would actually go and negotiate for.
Yeah.
Milan do need this sort of person at the club, but it doesn't seem to be... Sartori would be ideal for the kind of football that the Milan want to play and the project they have, but again, it doesn't seem to be the case because he's under contract and because...
why would he leave Bologna from Milan? Doesn't make sense. But I agree. We need someone who's experienced in the Italian ecosystem. that's the main issue we have right now. Is we have directors who don't really understand how things work. They think that they can do this new revolutionary thing, and they really can't. We've seen that now for 3 seasons. So we just need someone who's experienced. And by the sounds of it now, it could even be that we don't hire anyone, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. Like, we have 2 really bad seasons now. Isn't that enough proof that the current management isn't working? I don't understand. There's just so much wrong going on at the club, and I think that's why the ultras especially have been so keen on chanting "Cardinale, you have to sell," which they also did at the end of this game.
Yeah, they did.
So honestly, I can't say anything about the future of Milan right now because we don't know what's going to happen. And there's been talks of like
the only thing they need to do is keep it simple.
Yeah,
like restart from the basis and put the right people in the right roles.
Then the question is Cardinale the right man to keep it simple? I don't know. He's always made a strong case of revolutionizing sectors. This is the new way to go. This is what I'm doing, and this is so special because X, Y, Z. So I'm not entirely sure that he should be the one leading us then. Good financial strength, I get that, but maybe he should sell a minority stake and then, in time, phase out completely. I don't know. It's difficult because the relationship with the fans is completely broken, and it has been for the entire season. So,
but to sell the club, I mean, you need a very long process. Even a minority stake. They need to have something in place already, which doesn't seem to be the case right now. So, what you need now is something who can fix problems. I'm not saying from one day to another, but somebody who, puts things in order in their place and start doing ABC and doing things properly.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's the right decision to keep things as they are, because clearly it's not clear who picks the players. It's not clear who has the responsibility to sack a coach or hire a coach. I read this morning on Tuttosport there was a mini controversy, I would say, because you see we have the Olimpico at our back, and then right here they play the Italian Open tennis.
Yep.
And Ibra was surely here yesterday while Conceição was having his pre-match press conference, which isn't ideal if you are the boss, as he likes to say.
Yeah, no, it's like you say, it's so much confusion right now, and Zlatan as well. I don't know, does he want to stay? If it's been said that Forlani went to New York and got all these power back, and that means Zlatan is not going to have too much to say in most of the decisions, really.
Especially with if somebody else comes in as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think we can speak about this all night, really, because I follow the team every day, and I'm trying to understand how things work, and it's impossible. And when you don't really understand how things work, it's also hard to see how you can find a good solution without sacking everyone, really. I think it's super difficult, and we have too many people that don't know the Italian ecosystem, essentially, that are on high positions high up the club, and I don't know. I'm rambling now, but it's actually insane when you think about it, because so many football clubs have like a set structure, very clear what they want to do with the project, and all the roles have a specific meaning. You're not going to hire someone like that. Goes for every single company in the world. You're not going to hire someone just to fill a seat. I mean,
at this point, it's pretty clear that it will be tough for Milan to qualify for Europe, because it's just the fifth play. I mean, the fifth goes to the Europa League, and then the Coppa Italia winner. So unless Bologna finish in European placement and free a spot, the 6-1 for European placement and 7 for Conference League. then it will be hard for Milan to qualify for any European competition, which if it's not Europa League or Conference League, I don't even think is a bad thing for Milan, because again, they need to start from scratch and they need to start from the very beginning, from the basis. So it's probably not a terrible news for Milan. The terrible news was not playing in the Champions League.
Yeah, although I do think that the Europa League would have been good enough in terms of revenue, but the Conference League is like laughable. It brings in nothing for big clubs.
Yeah.
It's insane actually. But the Europa League at least would have been, decent amount of money, and perhaps you could have gone far in the Europa League and got some good opponents, which then would have sparked ticket sales and stuff like that. So,
I think Bologna fans are still inside chanting and celebrating. There are so many
rightfully
coming
so.
out. Yeah, rightfully so. They played an amazing game, and again, they sold Zirze last summer. They sold Calafiori. They lost Motta, and they were still able to fight for the fourth post, fight for a Champions League placement. Reach the Coppa Italia Final and win the first major trophy in 51 years. It's even hard to describe the season they're having, because nobody. I read an interview of Ibischer with The Athletic this morning, and he said that I didn't even expect this season, because last season was already so good. And I remember an interview, a press conference from Italiano at the start of the season, which struck me, because he said, and it's not easy to find something like this, like winning the Coppa Italia is one of our targets. You don't find many coaches who say,
I love that.
You don't find many coaches who have such clear ideas and say, we want to lift the trophy this season. He knew, of course, that it was the only little chance that they have was to win the cup. But at the same time, it was so convinced that they would make it.
I think that's the right way to go, even for the big clubs. Like, we've had so many years at Milan, especially of Pioli especially Pioli saying like, we want to win every game. When asked, do you want to win the Coppa Italia, or is that a goal? It's like, we want to win every game. And that's not really an answer. Like, it's been so many years of just like wasting the Coppa Italia, in my opinion. Not feeling the best players, and simply not having the right attitude. So that at least was something positive this season. But when you lose the final, I guess when you look back at it, it doesn't really matter.
Another player I really like tonight from Bologna, but I like him all season, I think he's been very underrated this term, is Juan Miranda. He doesn't like his numbers in terms of assists are pretty good this season, but tonight he was really composed. He was really good on the left, very balanced. They have a lot of underrated players, Bologna. I really liked home as well, although I expected Calabria to start, but maybe mixed feelings for Calabria playing against the team of his life. We read a little bit of tension with Conceição at the end of the game. They didn't greet each other. It was kind of a weird situation, but not so unexpected because of the past between
and the fight they had at San Siro, which was all a big misunderstanding, as they said. But I agree with you. Like, the Juan Miranda is a player Milan looked at even. Since I guess he was a free transfer as well. So.
Free transfer last season.
So that's someone we looked at as well, to have as Theo's deputy. But I think you made the right call not going to us. And Holm, of course, he played for my boyhood club. That's where he came up. So I follow him for many years, and he's always been very, very good, and it's nice to see him performing in games like these as well.
But we've named so many Bologna players. They have depth.
They
have depth. They have probably they lack the same. I mean, Casale played a good game, but it's not the same quality as Bergkamp or Lukumi. But they have depth all over the pitch. They have strong wingers. They have two good strikers, Castrobert and Dalinga. But still, Dalinga get the job done. Obega is a backup midfielder, is okay. They got Ibischer, who was a starter last season and qualified for Champions League. So I'll show you the Bologna fans going away from the stadium. Yeah, again, they have depth and they deserved this cup. First one in 51
sure.
years. Very, beyond important for Bologna.
Yeah, I mean, and we saw it last week as well. Even though they lost the game against Milan, they didn't have many of their starters in the 11. So even taking the lead there, and Milan, I'd say we deservedly won that game, but we had some luck as well. So I think, yeah, they have good depth, and it showed today especially. And when you believe in a project, it's very easy to perform, I guess. And it's hard for the Milan players to have the same thing. I mean, you can't just go off the fact that Conceição is a good motivator and cup manager or whatever. You need to have the entire club. You need to have the purpose, and that's what Bologna have with their fans right now. Milan, I'm not so sure. It's been so up and down this season, and so much criticism from the fans, so many protests that, of course, the players are going to feel confused. So, Bologna deservedly won, and pains me to say, but that's the case.
Thank you very much, Isak. Time to go to sleep for us, because we got a hotel a few kilometers away from here. So thank you very much for following us, and I'll be back very, very soon with more content. Buonanotte from Rome.
Ciao.